The Federal Executive Council is a body established by the Constitution of Australia to advise the Governor-General. The Governor-General is bound by convention to follow the advice of the Executive Council on almost all occasions, giving it de facto executive power. This power is used to legally enact the decisions of the Cabinet, which has no de jure authority. The Federal Executive Council is the Australian equivalent of executive councils in other Commonwealth realms, and is similar to the Privy Councils of Canada and the United Kingdom. Composition. The Federal Executive Council consists of all current and former Commonwealth ministers and assistant ministers. Membership is governed by Section 64 of the Constitution, which stipulates that once appointed to a ministerial role, a person shall also be a member of the Executive Council. Membership is usually for life. However, only those serving in the current ministry are actually involved in council activities. Members of the Executive Council are entitled to the style "The Honourable." The Governor-General presides over meetings of the Executive Council, but is not a member. The position of Vice President of the Executive Council is usually given to a member of the Cabinet, and no additional salary or allowance is paid. The appointment of Sir James Killen to this post in 1982 was controversial because the office was seen as a sinecure given that he held no ministerial portfolio. He was nevertheless considered a member of the ministry by virtue of this office, and he even administered a small, short-lived department. The Governor-General has the power to dismiss any member of the Executive Council, but the power is rarely exercised in practice. It might be exercised if, hypothetically, a minister or former minister were convicted of a serious criminal offence. One notable case was that of the Queensland Senator Glenn Shiel. Malcolm Fraser's government was re-elected at the 1977 election on the 10th of December, and on the 19th of December he publicly announced the ministry he would be recommending to the Governor-General, which included Senator Shiel as the new Minister for Veterans Affairs. Shiel was sworn in as an executive councillor, but, prior to the scheduled swearing-in of the ministry, he made public statements about apartheid that were at odds with the government's attitude to the issue. Fraser then advised Governor-General Sir Elman Cowan not to include Shiel in the ministry, advice that Cowan was required by convention to follow. Shiel's appointment as an executive councillor without portfolio was terminated on the 22nd of December. Meetings do not require the Governor-General's attendance, but the Governor-General must be notified of the meeting in order for it to be valid. A quorum for meetings is the Governor-General and two serving ministers or assistant ministers. If the Governor-General is not in attendance, quorum is the Vice President and two serving ministers or assistant ministers. In the absence of the Vice President, quorum is three ministers, one of whom, a senior minister, will preside. In practice, meetings will only be attended by a small number of councillors rather than the full cabinet. Most of the powers vested in the Governor-General, such as appointments and the authorization of budgets, are exercisable only by the Governor-General in council, that is, under advice from the Federal Executive Council. The council acts as a formal ratification body for decisions of the cabinet, in a parallel manner to the royal assent given to legislative acts by the Governor-General after they have passed both houses of Parliament. Proposed executive actions will receive the approval of the Governor-General in council after they have been agreed to by the Prime Minister and Cabinet.